had two seeds, and one is kept in water without air, and the second one is kept in air without water. Which will germinate? Explain why.
Well, Amza, the other part of your question is about the germination of seed. Let's first understand what is germination. Germination is start of the plant's life from seed. Now, what are the things required for germination? There are three things which are essential for germination. First is water, second is oxygen, which you call air, and the third one is temperature. Now, why is water essential for germination? Water does two things. Number one, when seed absorbs water, it absorbs moisture. Its coat, its outer covering swells and it ruptures. When it ruptures, the embryo emerges and it starts growing. And the second thing which water does is that it activates the enzymes inside the seed, and those enzymes then react with the stored food in the seed, make them soluble, and convert them into simpler components, and then oxygen reacts with those simpler parts of the food, and energy is produced, which is required for germination. And the third thing is the temperature. The seed cannot germinate without the right temperature. If the seed is frozen below 0 degrees centigrade, it will not germinate. And if it is too hot, the temperature might kill the enzymes and seed will rot. Again, it will not germinate. So you need a right amount of temperature for the seed to germinate. Now, your question. If the seed is kept in water, will it germinate? My question is big no, it will not germinate. Why will it not germinate? Well, the water will do its part. It will swell the seed coat. The seed coat will rupture and embryo will come out. Water will not be able to ultimately result in the production of energy, because water will activate the enzymes. Enzymes will break down the stored food into simpler components, but those simpler components need air, oxygen to react with them in order to produce energy for germination. Now, where will the oxygen come from? You might be thinking that there is a tiny amount of oxygen dissolved in the water. Yes, oxygen is there in the water, but the fish and the other aquatic life, they respire with the help of that oxygen which is dissolved in the water, but that is very tiny amount of oxygen. That oxygen will be depleted immediately. It will not even be able to enter into the seed because the pores of the seed will be filled with water and oxygen will not be able to enter inside the seed. So it will not germinate. Yes, you can say maybe initially some amount of, very tiny amount of oxygen may be able to enter the seed, and germination, initial stage of the germination may start, but it will immediately rot because the oxygen is required continuously for production of energy. And when oxygen will not be supplied, anaerobic microbes will be attracted to the leaf. So anaerobic respiration will be started, and those anaerobic microbes will rot the seed. It will be destroyed. So practically, there's no germination when the seed is in water. Yes, theoretically, you can say that the germination may initially start, but it will immediately stop and the seed will rot. And now, when the seed is in the air and there's no water at all, it will not germinate, because only oxygen cannot produce energy required for the germination of the seed. Oxygen has to react with the stored food broken by the enzymes into smaller components to form energy, to produce energy. So water is an essential part, and oxygen from the air is also an essential part for germination, and so is temperature. So this is the answer to your question. And if I may explain the action of water a little bit more, the biochemical action of water is that it activates the enzymes, and the enzymes are of different types like amylase, protease, and lipase. It depends upon the type of the food stored inside the seed. For example, if it is a wheat seed, it will be starch, if which is stored inside the seed. If starch is stored, then amylase is the enzyme which will be activated, and that amylase will break the starch into maltose, and maltose will be broken into glucose, and that glucose will then react with the oxygen from the air to form energy. And if the seed contains protein inside it, if the food stored inside the seed is protein, then protease is the enzyme which is required. It will break the protein into amino acids and energy will be produced. But if the food stored is fat, for example, castor seed or mustard seed, then the enzyme required is lipase, that will break the fats into smaller components, which is glycerol and some other components, and then energy will be produced from those broken smaller parts of the food in the seed. So that is how the energy will be produced and seed will germinate. So I have tried to answer your question very clearly and in a very easy manner. If still there is any confusion, feel free to come back. I'll make it further clear. Thank you very much.